Hey, what's up guys? So we are back to review Scream Season 2 Episode 6 entitled Jeepers Creepers.
Where'd you get those creepers? Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get those eyes?
This is the name of this episode. I don't believe that has any reference because no one loses an eye in this episode, but I do think maybe it has to do with the audience kind of peering in, and maybe we see things as they are, or maybe things aren't as they seem. But if I had to use one word to describe this episode, I'm going to use the word detective, or detectives if you believe it, because multiple scenarios in this episode to where the characters are all playing detective for their own reason. Right off the bat, we start with Noah and his suspicion of Audrey picks up, and so him and Emma kind of have sort of a detective run in this episode in which they contact Noah's informer called Eddie. Little do we know that Eddie is long time dead, and the killer has been basically using him to, I guess, toy and lure Noah on this path to wherever. And so we also have that Brooke is basically still distraught about Jake's death. I'm not sure why she's not over this yet, but she's still gone crazy about it. And so her and Gustavo kind of have more of a relationship in this episode, a buddy kind of detective relationship, in which Gustavo gives her some insider information that he basically stole from his dad. And so Brooke basically lures Seth into a trap, making him think that she wants him, and she handcuffs him to the bed and basically plays this tough girl situation with a pair of scissors or something, and she's threatening him. It kind of comes off as funny because I don't think Brooke is really tough at all. She's a really skinny, kind of scrawny New York kind of model type of woman, and we haven't seen her have any kind of strength other than maybe facing her dad, but that's about it. This comes into play later in the episode. So she leaves, and poor Seth is still tied up in the room. And so Noah basically, like I said earlier, he meets up with Eddie. He's supposed to meet him at this fun house, and Emma is supposed to meet him there as well, but she has some car problems, a flat tire. Rather funny scene that I think anybody else was screaming at the screen saying like, don't do that, that's not smart. So he goes into the fun house and he sees how creepy and dark it is. He says, nope, I'm not doing this, and basically he goes back to the car, that everything is fine. And so the killer pops up and basically gasses him and knocks him out. He ends up back in the fun house tied up with Audrey now there too, tied up. So they have a deep conversation between them. A lot of secrets are spilled. Out of nowhere, Audrey just pops up. She wasn't, I guess, handcuffed at all. She said she basically did all of this, you know, I'm assuming she gassed him, she tied him up. She did all this just to throw Noah off her basically suspicious path. He says it makes sense, but kind of leaves her to be a little bit more suspicious now. Flash forward to outside, Emma sees the killer, or so we think she sees the killer. They all kind of meet up and have this Scooby-Doo moment, and all of a sudden around the corner, Kieran pops up. That's Emma's boyfriend. He just pops up out of nowhere, no killer to be seen. They all kind of leave the scene. Did she see the killer or not? What are your thoughts? Leave them down in the comments section. I don't think she saw the killer. I don't think the killer was there. Or maybe he was, because who sent the text message to Noah? Not quite sure on that one. So they all escape, and Noah's back home. He is about to start his podcast. He hits record, which they wanted to try to trick us with that. He hit record. Audrey suddenly comes into the room. They have a deep conversation, and a lot more secrets are spilled. She basically tells Noah that she was Piper's accomplice. Is she spilling her guts because he knows, or is she spilling it because she just knows it's going to come up? Is she telling the truth all the way? Did she help Piper kill anybody? These are questions we do not know. But then they kind of have this touching moment. The camera pans to the computer, and he was recording all along, which I called as soon as she walked into the room. I knew that was going to happen. Poor Seth is still tied up in the room. He is still tied up to the bed. He hears basically the door opening and closing, and he thinks, I guess, someone is there to help him, but it turns out to be the killer is standing there. This is a particular kind of weird, scary scene. It's kind of funny, but kind of scary at the same time, because we see the killer take the iron and he sets it on the desk and he plugs it in, and all of this is done in kind of actual real time. It's not like it's edited, you know, to make it quicker. So it's kind of like funny, but it's kind of terrifying at the same time to see the killer is holding his iron. He's about to do something really, really bad. He cuts off Seth's hand. He or she cuts off Seth's hand. Not sure why he would do that. Maybe that's to be used in a future thing. I don't know why. But then we see the killer basically compresses the wound to stop it from bleeding. Could it be that Maggie has a background knowledge of her medical use, and maybe that's why the killer, you know, kind of compresses the wound and keep it from bleeding out? Could it be Seth's girlfriend at the time, the teacher, Karen? Could it have been her because she was hurt by hearing that Seth and Brooke had a relationship? Could it be that? Could it be Gustavo, who's basically in love with Brooke and would probably kill for her? Any one of these could be the suspect, or it could just be Emma's gone crazy and she's the killer. I'm kind of thrown off this season. I really don't know who it could be. Do you know? If you have any thoughts, leave it down in the comment section, because I am still clueless about this. Also, one factor that keeps bothering me about the show is that the Lakewood Six kind of went through a tragedy in the first one, yet none of them carry around any kind of weapons, any kind of knives or pepper spray. Don't you think if you went through a tragedy and the tragedy was happening again, you would kind of carry weapons or something on you? My predictions for episode 7, Let the Right One In. Very good movie. If you've never seen that, go ahead and see the foreign version. Don't watch the American version. Watch the foreign version. But back to Scream. It says Eli and Emma go off on a criminal adventure. I think we're going to see maybe those two have a stronger connection. Possibly a romance or some sort. And we're going to see Brooke and Audrey get caught in basically a trap. I'm not quite sure if we're ready to lose one of those characters. That went way too fast. Let's slow it down. As you can see, this is the teacher, and I believe she's the next to go in the next episode. What are your thoughts? Also, if you've ever noticed that the movie theater always has a different movie showing, maybe it's a clue, maybe it's not, maybe it's just them putting up different kind of movies, but it's always something I usually notice with each episode. But there you go. But anyway, guys, that is it for this review and thoughts on Scream Episode 6. Leave it down in the comment section. What are your thoughts about this? Who do you think that the killer is? Do you think Emma's going insane? Make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more content like this on the way. I'm trying to talk fast because my battery's about to die. But as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, peace. Hey, what's up, guys? So we are back to review the Scream episode. Perhaps is his girlfriend Karen, not Kieran. Karen is best. Maybe that would be kind of weird if it was Emma's boyfriend. It is Kieran, not Kieran. Karen. It is Karen. He might think it's Karen.